Hello everyone, today I will present my anti-racist campaign, More Than a Visa. This campaign focuses on racism against Indian international students in Australia. The core idea is simple. Indian international students should not be reduced to their visa status, accent, or economic value. They are students, classmates, workers, neighbors, and members of our community. The country I focus on is Australia, and the migrant group is Indian international students. I choose this group because international students are often discussed in economic terms, like tuition fees and visa pathways. But this economic farming can hit their everything experiences as people living, study, and working in Australia. To give a campus-based example, a 2022 University of Melbourne Students' Union report found that 71% of survived students reported experiencing or witnessing cultural racism or microaggressions at the university. And racism appears in ordinary spaces, classrooms, rental housing, part-time workplaces, public transport, and social media. The problem that campaign address is not only direct racist abuse, it also focuses on everyday temptations that make Indian international students feel excluded. For example, people may assume they are only in Australia for a visa, or that their accent means they are less intelligent. Some people treat them as outsiders even when they study, work, and live in the same community. The campaign asks, how can we challenge these everyday assumptions before they become normal? This campaign is anti-racist rather than only multicultural or diversity-based. And diversity campaign may celebrate different cultures, food, and vice versa. That is possible, but it may not challenge racism directly. An anti-racist campaign asks what need to change. Here it challenges how Indian international students are reduced to visa status, accent, or economic value. The campaign focuses on everyday racism because repeated small assumptions have a real impact on belonging. The campaign has three goals. The first goal is to raise awareness of everyday racism, stereotypes, accent, discrimination, and exclusion. The second goal is to challenge stereotypes that reduce Indian international students to a visa or an accent. The third goal is to equip local students with practical actions so they know what to actually do. This includes creating resources like posters, social media content, and an action group. This goal is important because the campaign should not only raise awareness, it should also help people understand what to do in everyday situations. The key messages are designed to be simple and memorable. The first message challenges the idea that visa status determines belonging. The second challenges accent discrimination. The third presents international students as a part of everyday community life. The fourth reminds the audience that racism does not always begin with open hatred. It can begin with an assumption. The final message summarizes the whole campaign. See the person, not the stereotype. The primary audience is local university students and young Australians aged 18 to 30. I choose this audience because they interact with Indian international students in everyday settings, group assignments, casual jobs, shared housing, and social media. There are also spaces where everyday racism can happen. The secondary audience includes university staff and employers. But the campaign focuses mainly on young people because they are reachable through posters, Instagram, and campus events. The first visual material is a poster mock-up. The poster shows a student surrounded by labels such as visa, accent, outsiders, and temporary worker. This represent stereotypes. The design then replaces those labels with words such as student, classmate, neighbor, and friend. The purpose is to make the audience visually understand the harm of reducing a person to one label. The design avoids presenting Indian international students only as victims. Instead, it shows them as people with multiple roles, identities, and relationships. The second version material is an Instagram carousel called 5 Things to Rethink. I choose Instagram because the target audience is young and active on the social media. Each slide focuses on one simple message. This format works because it does not overload the audience. It invites people to pause and rethink common assumptions. The final slide gives a clear call to action. Listen, reflect, and speak up. The campaign uses 4 strategies: posters, social media, a student-led workshop, and an everyday anti-racism guide. The campaign ran for 6 weeks. Week 1 begins with cancellation because the campaign should not speak for Indian international students without listening to them first. Week 2 developed messages and visuals. Week 3 launched the posters and the Instagram carousel. Week 4 releases short videos. Week 5 includes a workshop, and Week 6 evaluates the campaign through engagement data, attendance, and a feedback survey. This evaluation asks whether the campaign changed the awareness and willingness to act, not just whether it looked good. Now I want to reflect on what I learned during this design process. I faced 3 main challenges. First, avoiding difficult discourse. In my first draft, I focused too much on what Indian students like. After reading the Lovita guide on difficult discourse, I shifted to a strength-based approach, highlighting their role as active community members. Second, I learned about negation from the Passing the Message Stick guide. Negation is when we say what something is not, but that can actually reinforce the stereotype. So instead of saying, "Don't stereotype," my campaign says, "See the person." Third, I had to ask myself, who am I to speak? I'm not Indian. My campaign cannot center my voice. That is why cancellation is the first week of my timeline, not an afterthought. If I did this again, I would spend more time testing messages with Indian students before launching. The most important takeaway is that anti-racist is not about a perfect slogan. It is about specific, practical action. To conclude, More Than a Visa is an anti-racist campaign designed to challenge everyday racism against Indian international students in Australia. It focuses on stereotypes, assumptions, and exclusion. The campaign targets local university students and young Australians because their everyday behavior can either reproduce racism or support belonging. Through posters, social media, workshops, and an action guide, the campaign encourages people to listen, reflect, and speak up. The final message is simple: Indian international students are more than a visa, more than a stereotype, and part of the community. So next time you are in a group project or a shared house, ask yourself, am I seeing a visa or am I seeing a person? That's all. Thank you for your watching.